welcome to the program. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. That's a big website. Everybody goes to that website, ourhealthyhomes.com, or they call 651-775-9194, the Health and Wellness Hotline. Talk to the lovely and talented Sheila. She'll be happy to have a chat with you and get you going on your health and wellness journey. 651-775-9194. She gave me a list of things so much. It was so many things on the list. My eyes kind of blurred out on it. So why don't you give a rundown? Boy, we got a lot of stuff coming up.
Okay, so it's the new year.
Okay.
Right? And I'm hoping that people are venturing out more.
Why would you hope that?
Well, because we have a lot of mental
health. Do you
health.
think people weren't venturing out?
Oh, there's still a lot of people that haven't ventured out since COVID.
Ah.
Oh, yes.
That's like old news.
No, it is not. Liv, is it?
I would have to agree.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So it is still a thing, right? And they're still like freaked out about, being with people, and they've kind of forgotten. And honestly, they've gotten into their own ways now at home and gotten lazy and, all the things, right? So 2025 is my year that I want to get people to venture back out, get back with community, get back with people, because that's what's going to help you with a big piece of what's our 4 pillars, right?
Right.
One of them, 4 pillars to a healthy home and your body is the mental piece of it,
mental and
right?
emotional well-being.
So you got to get out there and you got to be with people and find your people. Like, that's it, right? Find your people. So I love hosting, whether it's something that I'm hosting or hosting something for you, or when people rent out the pool. Somebody said the other day, "Oh, you guys just like let strangers in your house." And it's like, yep, that's what we do, right? And so we are open and wanting to.
I told him it's no stranger than the person I live with. Oh, that's a different kind of strange.
I guess. Okay. Right. Okay. So go to ourhealthyhomes.com, click on the events tab. We've got a bunch of things coming up. And we have Zoom and in person, because now we're, dealing with weather and cold, and even another reason why people don't want to come out. It's dark outside at 4:00, all the things. So go on there. We've got how to use natural products on your pets. Okay. We spend a lot of money on our pets, and we have a lot of cancer. I think everybody knows that, and so do our pets. So let's hear about that. And the gal that does that talk uses a lot of natural products and grew up with a dad that was a veterinarian, and so she's got a lot of good history and information.
Okay.
So we've got a pet Zoom, we've got a bingo, and that's a Zoom, and that's super fun. And yes, we get prizes, and we'll mail them out to you and all the things. And all of these are on the website for you to view, register, and share. And then the Soup and Sing is an in-person event, and so I keep getting, well, I want to come, but I don't want to sing.
Oh,
well, you don't have to sing, right? We've got our music man coming, and he's going to have croaky if there's anybody that does want to sing.
Once you get liquored up a little bit, you'll start singing.
Exactly, right? And so I need 5 people to bring soups, and then we test soups, and then you vote on the soup, and then we give prizes and all the things. So it's super fun. We have homemade bread that we get, and it's just a super fun event. The last one was a hit. So learn the raindrop technique. Now that's a small class. That's like 4, because you have to hands-on learn which oils, how to apply them, which order.
That's for the serious person.
Well, that's for anybody that, is feeling like crap. Like, come and learn how to do this so you can do it on your family, and you can do it on yourself, at least your feet. But the idea is to learn the technique, see how it can support you, and then, maybe you get yourself on a routine of a raindrop a month. And learn the benefits of how that supports your health and inflammation.
But learning the raindrop technique is so that you can apply the technique to someone else.
Yes, mainly your family.
All right.
Yep. A Zoom is a wealth, wellness, and wisdom. So that's kind of just what it implies there. And then how to reduce your blood sugars naturally. Here we go. That's at the end of the month, end of January. So after everybody has screwed up their resolutions by January 25th, we will have a class for you on how to reduce your blood sugars naturally. So another gal speaks on that. And
just as an aside on that, we are in, as we're recording this show, we are in day 8 of a fast. So we've been fasting and doing the
complete master cleanse.
Master cleanse and fasting is really what it boils down to, with just drinking some stuff. And for 8 days, and my blood sugar that I tested yesterday morning was 77, resting blood sugar 77. So think about that for those who have a blood sugar of 230.
Yep.
And you can get it right down there. And I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes a number of years ago, and we just never did anything. My siblings who have also been diagnosed, they're taking injections and taking metformin and doing all this. I do nothing. Blood sugar 77. You can do it all with diet and exercise.
Yeah, and it does require support, right? So these TV commercials and all these, Instagram and TikToks, like, get this weight loss product, get this weight loss product. Easy. You're going to, please don't fall into that trap of buying the product and then you're going to get it and then you use it, but you really don't know how to use it. And you need the team of support.
Right.
And that's what we have. I call it my Meltdown, my Muffin Top program, but it's so much more than that. In order to reduce that or release that weight, it isn't just food and exercise, right? So we've got to get the body cleansed. Fasting's one of them. There's different levels of fasting, so don't freak out on me if you've never fasted before. We do certain things in a certain order to open up the cells, to get the body prepared and ready for the detoxification process that's going to happen once we go into a cleanse. Are we doing a kidney cleanse? Are we doing a liver cleanse? Which one are we doing? Okay. And it takes all of those organs to be cleaned to be able to continue to keep the weight off, right? I did the thing, I lost 10 pounds and I put it back on again. Well, sure. Everybody's going to lose 10 pounds if they just change something in, a month and then they go back to their bad habits, right? So 80% of Americans have are pre-diabetic. So let's not go there, right? We don't need to go there. We still eat our treats, that kind of thing. Well, I barely eat treats, but but Keith eats his treats. The pet class, again, now this one's going to be in person the end of the month. And Liv, who's with us today, our guest, so she is going to do a sound bath, and we're going to do it around and in the pool. So if you don't want to be in the pool,
you can be around
the pool, right? And you can be floating in your tube, you can be floating on your floaty, you can be on your yoga mat beside the pool. So we're going to have
an in-depth conversation of what that means, sound bath.
Yes. And then I did put a couple of Februaries on there, the bread class. So whoever came to the soup soiree last month or whenever it was, I had found a gal in Jordan, Lexi, who makes homemade bread, but she mills her own flour. And I'm telling you, this bread, I'm not a bread person, but like this, I love this bread. But there's the better enzymes and it's better for you when you mill the flour and then make it. There's so much more nutrients and benefits from that than if you go to the store and buy the bread. Okay.
Right. And nothing mixed in. It's not enriched or fortified, quote unquote, which means they added stuff. Right.
And so she's going to bring samples and show us how to make the bread, and that's just going to be a fun in-person class. And then community acupuncture. I know Keith is excited.
I'm excited about this one, actually.
So community acupuncture. Dr. Sonia, she was on the show a month or so ago, and so she comes and. Again, you'll be on the yoga mat laying around the pool. If you want to sit, you can sit. And so she's going to have everybody do an intake form, and so that you can get the acupuncture needles in the points of where you need it for you. So you're not just coming to everybody gets it in the hand, right? She wants it to be an person.
Can she do all of those people at once though, or is she running around?
Sure, because when you get acupuncture, you typically have a time frame that you rest for 20 to 30 minutes.
With the pin in you.
With the needles in.
Okay.
Right? So it doesn't take her long to put them in, but the point is that depending on where they at, I guess it really doesn't depend on where they are. You need to be still.
Okay.
So you need to lay or sit still
Okay.
with the needles in there for them to.
So is that they're going to be on yoga mats again around the pool?
Yeah, yoga mats, and again, if you want to sit, you can.
Okay.
And so she'll just do a quick intake, and then she'll go around and do everybody, and then we'll.
Is there a limit to the number of people that can attend that class?
Well, yes and no. Like with Liv and the sound bath, we can get a lot of people in the pool and around the pool. So go to ourhealthyhomes.com, click on the events tab, and let's chat about what interests you.
Coming up in the next 30 days. Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com. The 4 pillars of a healthy home. We talk about the physical structure of the house. We talk about the ecosystem, what's going on inside the house. We talk about our bodies, of course, our food that we eat and what we put on our bodies, in and on the body. And we talk about the emotional and spiritual well-being, the 4 pillars of a healthy home. If all 4 of those pillars aren't in place, the roof comes tumbling down. Okay.
Yes, it does.
Olivia, thank you for stopping by.
Do you like Olivia or Liv?
Either one.
Either one?
Either
All right,
one.
Okay.
I'm going to say Olivia because that's what I have written down
Okay.
here. All
Okay.
right. Okay, so Liv222Heal. Liv222Heal. Where'd you come up with that one? What is that?
So technically it's Liv2Heal, but it has 222, so it's an angel number. So as you'll see, like right here, I have 444 on my neck. Some people will see 999 repeatedly, so 999 is new beginnings. 444, it's like your angels are with you. So different numbers have different meanings. 777, abundance. So 222, I just loved that. I thought putting that in there added a little extra oomph.
Yep.
Okay.
And so obviously I'm Liv.
Okay.
I'm living to help others heal while I heal myself. So
Okay.
it's actually really funny. I was just driving one day. I knew I wanted to start a business. I didn't know what to do, what to name it or anything. And then randomly it just hit me, Live to Heal, signed a lease 2 weeks later.
Well, so you're driving and you had no idea. Could have been a pizza shop.
Yeah.
Could have been anything else, but you decided Live to Heal was
I'll never forget it too. I was riding down the main road in Burnsville and it just came right to my brain and I said it out loud and I was like,
Ooh, when you say things out loud,
Yep.
that's for real when you say it out loud.
It's kind of like the Holy Spirit was revealing himself
that's
within
how
you.
it felt.
Okay.
It felt very spirit-led.
Okay, so what is it? Now describe. Now we got the name down, and you've signed the lease.
Yes.
Have you figured out yet what you're going to actually do for a revenue stream?
Finally, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So I do a couple different things. I do Reiki, I do sound baths, and I actually started my journey with being a esthetician. So I do have that license, so I do waxing in the suite as well.
Okay.
Starting in the new year, though, we are very much focusing on the healing aspect. So the Reiki, the sound baths, when it comes to Reiki, it's going to be a really cool form of energy healing. If we think about it, energy is everywhere. It takes up everything. It takes up our bodies. So it's a really cool non-invasive way for me to kind of just move around any stagnant energy from the body, just kind of clearing things out, bringing people some clarity, bringing some calm, just like really trying to relax.
Okay, I'm feeling a little woo-woo already.
Okay.
So explain to me.
Yes.
Explain to me. I'm an accountant by education, so you kind of get my mindset. I'm ticking the boxes off and stuff like that. That's why I love real estate, because it's physical structure that I can look at and I know how it's put together. And Reiki's not like that, is it?
No, not at all.
So it's completely antithesis of how I think. So help me understand what it is exactly, and what it is that if I go to you to a Reiki session, what it is that you're trying to accomplish.
Absolutely. Let me give you a little rundown of how we do things at Live to Heal, okay?
Okay.
So what you would do is you would come in. You would lay on the table. We would have you fill out a little form previously just to kind of tell you what you're dealing with, but I don't want too much detail.
Oh.
I actually want you to just give me enough to where I'm like, okay, for example, let's say you're like, I've been having some back problems or maybe some issues with the body. Perfect. I don't want to know where, actually.
Oh.
You're going to come in. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to have you lay on the table. I'm going to grab a pendulum, which is going to be just a little divination tool I use. Some people do think that part is woo-woo. I personally am using that just to help figure
So
out.
describe this device.
Yes. So what it is you can do it on a string with a rock on it. You can do it with just
a pointed
metal.
Yeah, like most people use it like a pointed jewel, if you
it's
will.
like a weighted.
Okay.
Something that's weighted. Yes, a weighted thing.
All right.
So basically what I do when I
Could be an old bolt from out in the garage.
Sure.
All right.
Honestly, yes.
Yes,
If you
okay.
have the
Right.
small string, that
Okay.
could work.
Super.
Right.
I'm going to put that over the body. What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask myself to align me with the energy in your body. I'm going to use this pendulum to go over, and it's going to go through your body, and it's going to tell me what issues you're kind of having. So it's going to tell me.
How do I know that you're not subconsciously just rocking
So-
the boat there?
And this is where that kind of goes hand in hand. So I'm going to be asking you, and that's why I also don't want you to tell me too many things,
Okay.
right? Because I could just be like, oh, you told me your back hurt. It
Right.
looks
So,
like your
oh yeah,
back's
here it
hurting.
is. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, it looks like you're having leg problems.
Yeah.
I want as minimal detail as possible because that way I can go in and I can be like, hey, it's looking like, for example, let's talk about the throat, right? If that's like going all crazy, I can be like, hey, have you had some problems expressing yourself lately? Because it just looks like, you're having a little bit of a throat chakra blockage, perchance.
So now, if you're a highly suggestible person like my wife, she'd just answer yes to every question you ask. Oh yeah.
No, I would not.
Now that you mention
I
it,
would not. You're so funny.
now that you mention it, my hip is bothering me a little bit.
You're fun.
Well, I would hope that if I ask people, are these things coming up, that they were honest. I don't
Okay.
want anyone to be over exaggerating, and be like, oh, you're right. 'cause
Yeah,
that's not what I'm here to
absolutely.
do. That's not what's going on here. I just want to find out exactly what's going on with the body so I can just help you deal with it in the way that you want to deal with it. Something cool about Reiki, too, that I didn't speak about earlier is I kind of like to think about it as like therapy without the talking.
Okay.
A lot of people go through trauma, right?
yes,
Different
right.
things that
Therapy
get
without the talking.
stored. It gets stored within the body. They don't know how to deal with it. A lot of times that causes people to lash out, right? Different things. It's just getting trapped. They want to explode. So when you do the Reiki, I actually can sometimes, a lot of the times, kind of get a sense of what's going on, where that trauma struck, what age, how it struck. And I always tell people, I'm like, so here's the thing. I'm going to tell you what came up. We don't have to go in detail,
Mhm.
but I'm just letting you know that this is a safe space. So if anything that wants to come up is coming up, we can talk about it. But you're never going to be forced to talk about anything. I love to give people different tools to go home and do that themselves, and then kind of just like follow up every week just to be like, hey, how are you? Did you do any of those prompts? Did you do any exercises? How are we feeling? Just to make sure people also aren't coming in, getting the Reiki, feeling wonderful, and then going back and not taking care of
Okay.
themselves.
So then, explain to me exactly, because I'm seeing Madame Voosh sitting around her crystal ball here. So when you come in, what you say you do the Reiki? What do you do?
So it's really
and
funny.
what
Yep.
is? I'm still trying to get ahead of what is
What is
Reiki?
Reiki?
What
Yes.
is it exactly?
So let's go backwards a little bit. Once I'm done with the chakra alignment, okay, just seeing where everything is, I actually just take my hands. What I'll do is, and this is the part where people can be like, okay, that's very woo woo.
Okay.
So I also like to, like, if you think about a phone, right? What happens when your phone's dying? You put it on the charger.
Yes.
You charge it up.
Yep.
Simple. What happens to your body? You go to sleep. So when you're doing the Reiki, I have people lay down. I almost want them to fall asleep.
Okay.
Because if you're thinking about when you fall asleep, you're not having those like negative connotations
Right.
in your mind, right?
Right.
Your mind is just blank. So any subconscious, any affirmations I put, they're going directly into your brain. They're really helping that function just flow. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to activate my hands. I activate my clients just like body to the energy. And I'm honestly just putting my hands on the different areas of the body that I feel as if need the most
Do you
help.
physically touch them, or you
So,
hover? Or?
I can.
Okay.
So we do physical touch. It's either physical touch or hands off.
But
Okay.
not everybody does Reiki, right? Some people
Exactly.
that do Reiki do not touch, but they don't have maybe the license to touch, or how does that
Well,
work?
when
Maybe
it comes
that's
to Reiki,
what
you
if
can do
I don't
hands-on,
have my
hands-off.
license, because Sheila's always saying hands off, hands off. So maybe that's a different thing. So
Well, I like to do hands-on. I think it's just a really good way for me to connect with the person.
okay.
Some people don't like to be touched.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's totally fine. Then what I'll do is I'll just make sure my hands are close enough to the body where I can feel that energy go through.
Do you ask them first?
Yes, I always
and do
ask.
and do they know that, okay, Reiki's, there are many practitioners of Reiki.
Yes.
Some people touch, some don't. They just kind of know that if they come to you, you prefer touching, and if that doesn't work for them, maybe they're just going to go somewhere else.
Well, I always ask them before. I'm
Okay.
like, do you like hands-on or hands-off?
Uh-huh.
Because you
if
could do
someone-
it without putting hands on.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So if someone's just like, I don't want to be touched today, that's absolutely no problem.
Okay, so tell me what the point of the touching is then.
Yes. So the point of the touching, honestly, is just to get more contact with the body.
Okay.
There really isn't, honestly, a huge difference. Some people just truly believe if they can feel the hands
Yeah.
on the body,
There's
it's
more
more
of a connection.
effective.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's kind of like when we do the raindrop, right? When
Uh-huh.
the raindrop is done, Gary taught it, and it came from the Indian, whatever tribe that
Yeah,
did this
whatever.
technique, right? Okay, so when you are having a raindrop done, you are taught as the person doing the raindrop to always have your hand on them, one hand on them somewhere
At all times.
at all times. Right. So
It's a grounding thing.
yes, exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So kind of like
Yeah.
the purpose of
Yeah.
having
And one thing I will say is, and a lot of probably Reiki practitioners aren't like this, but when people come to see Reiki with me, I do typically have my shoes off just to keep my feet completely full in the ground.
Okay.
Even though obviously there's no grass.
oh wow.
I just like it down.
All right. We're
We
out
got
time for
lots
this
more to talk
segment.
about. We got to
We have to go out and pay some bills. We'll be right
That went
back
fast.
after these messages. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194. The 4 pillars of a healthy home. We're talking about the emotional and spiritual well-being in this program. And we're talking about the sound whatever it
Bath.
is. Sound bath and what's coming up.
not a cold bath
we'll be-
plunge, but a sound bath.
A sound plunge.
There you
We'll
go.
be right back.
So we
Hey there, welcome back to the program. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194. Check out the website, got all the upcoming events. Geez, we got a jam-packed January, I tell you. A lot of
Go to
stuff
the-
happening in the
yeah.
next 30 days.
go to the events tab, check out the 14-day reset and the meltdown your muffin top. They go hand in hand. It's part of the process. I've written a 90-page meltdown your muffin top program book of the why and the cleansing and the order and the healing crisis, we call it, and so forth. So I've written the whole program to take you through that, and it does take about a year. So
Okay, we got Liv222Heal.
mhm.
Olivia is talking about Reiki. So I now we spent a lot of time about it in the last segment. I still don't understand what it is and what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
So
But-
what are you actually supposed to be doing there? I get it that you're hovering your hands over and you're maybe touching in certain areas. What is that supposed to be accomplishing?
So I think the best way for me to explain it, honestly, is if you think about, are you familiar with the chakras at all?
Chakra.
Mm-hmm.
My kids used to write on the sidewalk with chalk.
That's exactly.
No.
Exactly. So when it comes to the chakras, there are 7 major ones within your body.
Okay.
So that's going to be kind of how your body runs.
Your energy centers.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if we think about too, you guys all know about foundation. You guys talk about it
Yep.
a lot. So your base chakra is going to be, that's your base. That is your foundation of your body.
Okay. Is it different for everybody?
No, everyone's is going to be their base.
Okay.
So,
Where is that?
So it's going to be located like right underneath kind of the belly
Navel?
button. Yep.
Okay.
Right under there, kind of back of the spine,
Okay.
bottom of the spine area. So
Where the spine hooks onto the hip bone. Kind of through.
yeah,
Through and
just
through.
down
through
here,
and through.
you know.
Okay.
Gonna start singing.
To the hip bone.
Yeah.
So what we're doing is we're going through, and the reason why we're using hands, and we talked about the energy earlier, is if you think about the chakras, think about your 7 energy centers, right, in your body. If those are either overexposed or underexposed, if they're overexposed, if your base one is, let's start there, right, you might be, your ego's too big.
Mm-hmm.
You might be running around. But if it's underactive, you're going to have very low self-esteem.
Okay.
So do you kind of sense the vibe
Yeah,
there?
yep.
So when it comes to Reiki, what I'm doing is I'm helping with those chakras, keep them aligned. So if it was overactive and someone was having ego problems, I would really go through, use my hands. What we're doing is with the energy, we're kind of pulling out some of the energy that's just not used in there anymore,
And putting it somewhere else.
and we're putting it somewhere else.
Okay,
We're
so
just
I have a
kinda-
question now. All right. So there are cameras that can take photographs of your aura.
Yes.
So we know that it's a physical reality. It's energy
Yes.
that emanates from your body.
Yes.
And so is the energy that you're trying to capture and move, or is that something different?
That's something different.
Okay.
So with Reiki, I'm a receiver of the
Yep.
raindrop, but I don't want to do the raindrop, right?
Yep.
I have to believe that there's people that are more capable, or that it's just their jam to be able to do this and to feel the energy and to be more in tuned, right?
Yep.
Like my PT guy says, you are so in tune to your body because you know exactly, you can pinpoint exactly where that little pain is, where most people would say, I have a pain in my knee, right? And so do you have to either have it or you don't to be able to do Reiki?
So it's so funny that you asked that, because that's actually such a good question. So anybody can do Reiki, but it is one of those things where it's like, how in tune are you to the energy, to yourself, right? Because if you get trained in it, and someone's telling you this is exactly how to do it step by step, but you're just like, I don't believe in this. Well, it's not going to go well.
Right.
Because you just have no belief.
Right.
But if you are open to it, I mean, yeah, anyone can learn it.
Do you do it to yourself?
I do.
Really?
It kind of freaks me out, I'll be completely honest. And so a full session on myself, I haven't yet. We're still learning. We're still doing things. I always remind myself, I'm going to be 26, but I'm still 25.
Right.
So it's like, still the learning within myself. That's why it's healing myself while I help heal others. But yeah, anyone can do it if they really wanted to.
Okay.
But it's just like, please have the right intentions. Because
Yes.
it really is, it's something that you are tapping into someone's energy field. And so if someone learns it, they don't have the right intentions. You really can.
You could
mess them
steal
up.
their energy? Can you steal
You really
it?
can.
Well, and
energy vampires are a real thing if you think about it.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like the raindrop, right? So before you get started with the raindrop, the person that's giving the raindrop uses white angelica oil on themselves first to protect them against the negativity and the bad, elements of what that person's dealing with, so that they can, ground and ground them without taking on, their stuff.
And if the listener is a skeptic like I am, I would invite you to think back on your own personal experience. You know of people that when they walk into the room, you can just feel the weight.
Yes.
Darkness kind of come over. It's just like you can tell that these are bad people.
Yes.
Yes.
And they come in and you kind of your shoulders go down a little bit, your guard kind of comes up because and on the other hand, you have people when they walk into the room, and Sheila is one of them, to be honest with you, the room just kind of, it's like someone turned a light on.
Yep.
It just brightens up, and it's like, wow, there's a vibrancy here and an energy here that wasn't here before. So we know that carries
is real.
That is real. Whether or not we can manipulate that or not, or control it somehow, is another story. And I believe that you can, because I think you can control that or manipulate it or come in tune with it through prayer, meditation, all those things. We've been preaching that for millennia. So we know that's all true. If we can, I just want to bounce a little bit to the sound thing.
Yes.
The sound bath that we have coming up.
So we're going to talk about the sound plunge
Sound bath.
here. So if you could just share with me what exactly that is, and what is the procedure to that, and how does that, if it does at all, coordinate with or tie into Reiki?
Yep, absolutely. So it's going to be kind of a similar concept, right? I have a 7-bowl set, so each bowl is going to be correlated with each chakra within the body.
Okay.
So 7 is normal.
Yep.
7 bowls are normal. You wouldn't have more than 7.
Well, you 100% can.
Okay.
The thing about it, too, if you think about sound bowls, each bowl can be a different chakra, but you can have different tones, right?
Okay.
So you can have like a higher C or a lower C, but it's still going to be to that chakra. So what I'm doing essentially is a lot of it is just not only the sound, but the vibration. So the vibration hitting the floor, going through the people. It's just a really good sense of, like, for example, if someone wanted to get some energy healing done, they wanted to just kind of remove some of that stagnant energy, but they don't really want to try Reiki. They don't really want to be one-on-one with a person. They want something to maybe do with like a friend, just to get something they're going to come to a sound bath.
A group first.
Exactly.
Get comfortable with the group, and then you can do a one-on-one if you want to.
Exactly.
All
So
right.
you're going to come to a sound bath. The sound bath is going to be me with my bowls. I'm just going to play you a little. We do like about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. Typically after, I like to do a little bit of integration. So, if anything came through for you, if you had any messages, if anything, just like really like, those aha moments where you're like, wait a second, I love to hear them. I love to know. But it's very similar, honestly, to Reiki. And
is it a way for people if they're sitting there, are they sleeping? Are they sitting up? Are they laying down, or what is it?
You can stand, you can lay down, you can exercise, you can take a sound bath however you would like it.
Interesting.
The best advice for me to give for someone doing a sound bath is just make sure that you're trying to relax.
Yeah.
So even if you're like cleaning your house and you just want to put a sound bath on, on YouTube in the back, things like that, just to kind of feel those sounds.
Maybe you should try that, Sheila.
calm.
I mean, cleaning the house.
Right, I got you. I picked up on that. Thank you.
But it's just like it's one of those non-invasive, energy sense. So
Okay.
we're just using the vibrations. They're going to match the chakras, and we're just going to go through and just really.
I see
play
it as
some
sitting
bowls.
there quietly,
like
trying
a
to go
meditation.
inside
Yeah,
and
right.
do meditation while
Yeah,
you're listening to that.
absolutely.
Because, and if anyone is listening, is kind of think, okay, this is woo woo, because it can sound like that. But think about it. How many times do you hear a song on the radio and it triggers?
Yep.
And you are immediately taken back to when you were 16 years old, and in an instant through music. And so, and in church, standing in church and doing worship music in church, transformed.
Yep.
So this is not that different.
No.
Smells do the same thing.
And smells do the same thing. Let me ask you this. When you're 45 minutes seems like a long time to rub on. Do you ding bowls, or do you rub them with your fingers, or do you hitting them with a?
So we have mallets.
Okay.
So I have mallets. I go just kind of around the bowls just to kind of get that vibration going, and I play obviously all of them. But I have different instruments too. So I have like an ocean drum that makes like rain sounds. I have like a thunder canyon now. I have little chimes.
Okay.
We got lots of new stuff.
Okay.
So I went to one. And typically we don't have music in the background, right?
Yes.
But at Lisa's, she, in her wig salon, she was on the show as well. And in the salon, she normally has her ocean music playing all the time, right? So it's waves moving and things like that. Okay, so she had it on that night. She didn't shut it off. Oh my. Okay, I got to tell my story when.
Okay, so when we come back, we'll pick up on Sheila's story of her sound bath experience.
Yes.
Sound plunge experience. When we come back, this is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194, 651-775-9194 for you people in Iowa. And we'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to the program. Thanks for sticking around. Woo-woo. This is Our Healthy Homes, ourhealthyhomes.com, 651-775-9194, the 4 pillars of a healthy home. That's what we chat about here. We learn and explore. When we went out to break, Sheila was telling us about her experience and the distraction of having other music playing.
Well, I don't know that it was a distraction for everybody, but the music was playing and it was the sound of waves and whatnot in the background, and then I was sitting maybe closer to that speaker than some other people were.
Okay.
And so I kept finding myself trying to focus more on the sound bath noise than the wave noise. So when it was all said and done, I literally felt like I was on the boat. I mean, I was nauseous, I was seasick, and I was like, what? What is the deal, right? But my point of that is 45 minutes of focusing, right, on that being right there beside me, it does do something to you, right? Because it's a frequency, it's a noise. And if you know anything about whole tones, have you heard of whole tones?
No, actually.
Whole tones is it's music that has been designed to focus on things that you need, like, do you need relaxation, do you have anxiety, do you have this?
Okay.
So it's the music that is programmed to help support those things. Anyway, so whole tones, it's the music thing. And even when we started doing Crescent Cove, the kids' hospice with the dog, the person that started it, Katie, I mean, she started doing, she was doing music therapy with kids, right?
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I mean, music is therapy,
Right.
And so
Absolutely.
equals sound bath.
It's vibrations.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So
Frequency.
January 26th at 4 p.m. in person is the sound bath at the Hittner Healthy Home Mansion with Liv, and we are going to be in the pool if you want, or you can be around the pool. So either one. Just go to ourhealthyhomes.com, click on the events tab. It's $50. Once you register, then I'll send you an email on how to prepay.
All right. So now if you can connect the dots here.
Mhm.
So first I got one question.
Yep.
So when you're doing your bowls, and you mentioned you have some other instruments now.
Yes.
Do you have a script that you use? Are you following a score, or it just kind of free flowing?
I love that question, actually. I just free flow every single time.
Okay.
Every
And it's
single
different
time.
every time.
It's different every single time. I've stressed myself out and tried to like plan out what I'm going to do for certain sound baths. It never goes that way.
Okay.
I've just learned to let it go.
Okay.
Basically what I
So
do.
it's like jazz.
Yeah, honestly.
Okay.
Just like kind of jazzing it up. I just feel what the people are needing.
All right.
Or at least what I think they're
The vibe
needing.
is in the room.
The vibe is in the room. I pick up on my vibe sometimes too.
Mhm.
Typically, if I play a certain bowl, I'm like, I need this, but they
Mhm.
probably need it too.
Okay.
Sure. So most sound baths that you do are with multiple people. Do people
Yes.
come and just get a sound bath themselves session?
Onesies.
I mean, if they really want to, but it's not common.
Yeah,
It's really not
It's
that
a community thing,
Mhm.
right?
If I'm doing like a Reiki session and someone wants to add sound, absolutely.
Okay.
But doing a full sound bath by yourself, I mean, we can do it,
Yeah.
but it's
but
not super common.
That'd be
Yeah.
super expensive. Okay. So now let me ask you this. How do you connect the Reiki and the sound bath together? You just mentioned
Yep.
if someone comes and does a Reiki section and they want the sound bath too, but the two modalities,
Mhm.
how do the two modalities speak to one another?
Yep. So if we're thinking about it, they're both going to correlate to those chakras, right? And so what we're doing is if I'm doing a sound bath on someone while I'm doing Reiki, I'll typically have one of my hands doing like the bowl on this side, but I still have a hand on the other person just to make sure we're not breaking any contact. Otherwise, if they still want to do hands off, that's okay too, but I still just make sure I'm not breaking any contact between the bowls and the energy within the person. And we're just honestly tying it together just by like extra, what am I looking for?
I don't know.
Just extra comfort,
Mm-hmm.
extra just healing. The sound, when you do a sound and Reiki together, I feel like the benefits, you're going to get the benefits from both either way.
Mm-hmm.
So just adding one versus the
But
other.
is one, like, if you do them together, is that like supercharged? Then you're going to come out of there feeling like, wow, I feel fabulous.
I mean, I hope they're both supercharged on their own, you know what I
Okay.
mean? So putting together, yes. But I don't want to shock anyone, with
Mhm.
that being said, you know what I mean? So I don't want it to
Chakra?
ever be too much.
Is that the
Shock
Chakra?
the chakras.
Okay. Can you shock the chakras?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. Not recommended.
Okay, go through and just describe for someone who's listening to us and thinking these guys sound a little bit like off their rockers.
Okay.
What are just go through all
All
of
the
them.
chakras?
Yeah.
So we have the base chakra, so that's going to be at the bottom.
Okay.
The sacral, it's going to be right on top of that one. It's going to be like a little bit below your belly button. So the sacral is going to be like your sexual energy. It's orange. When we think about the chakras too, think about it as like a rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
So base is going to be red. The sacral is going to be orange. We have the solar plexus. That's going to be yellow. We have the heart chakra. That's going to be green. We have the third eye, which is going to be, we have the throat, of course. The throat's going to be right here. And then that's going to be, it's like an indigo, like blue. Third eye, and then the crown.
Okay, so what the colors, do they mean anything? Or
They're just the colors that
just
go
a way
with
to
it. Yep.
identify
Just
which
the way
one?
to identify.
Okay.
But also, too, if you think about, if you're having like, for example, like if you're having throat chakra, so throat chakra really good for express yourself, things like that. Blue correlates with the throat, so I wore like blue bracelets, so that's gonna help me speak better. So they do different things, but it
Each
honestly,
chakra.
yes, but it's honestly just like the color just to match.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Talk about third eye and crown,
Mhm.
because there's a lot
Yep.
of conversation about third eye and crown.
So your third eye, it's gonna be kind of right here, right
Your
in between.
forehead.
Yep, right in the forehead area. So that's gonna be like you and how you like see kind of your spiritual sense.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be like woo-woo spiritual, but it's just like, how is your mind working? How are you seeing yourself? How are these views? And the crown, that I always, when I think of the crown personally, that is me connecting with my higher power.
Okay.
And the higher power, I mean, it could be God, right?
Crown you're talking about, not
Yes,
third eye, crown.
Right. So crown, and everyone has a different higher power. Some is God. Some is, they praise just the universe.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different gods and different things. Mine personally is the universe. So when I'm thinking of like doing crown work, that's just a lot of meditations, lots of kind of same as the base, if that makes sense. But it's just like up more.
Okay. Ooh, I hear the
Yeah.
music. I hear the woo-woo music.
The
Do you hear it?
woo.
Do you hear it?
Yeah,
You
I
feel
hear
it? Do you feel it?
Okay, let me ask you this now.
Oh wait, I got one.
We got 3 minutes
Can you do it on somebody without them knowing it?
I
You know-
wouldn't recommend it, but yeah,
Okay.
you can.
Ah.
I have before.
Ah?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Ah,
I asked my
yeah.
friend. I've done it, so I did it on my friend's husband before. So I
Okay.
asked her permission.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So
all right,
I'm
all
not
right.
just out here just spewing things
Spewing
on
things.
people.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so
You know that negative family person that you have that when they come over you just want to.
yeah.
I've thought about it.
Exactly.
Okay, so if you were to take a look at your people that you work with,
Mhm.
I'm thinking that most of them are women.
Mhm.
90% of them are
Yep.
women, because most guys are going to listen to this and think this is stupid.
So you would think it's so funny because the boyfriend that I have right now, I met him because he's very, very into this stuff.
Okay.
And we actually met at the crystal shop that I work at now.
Okay.
And so lots of his guy friends are very like kind of into this new stuff. But I will say when it comes to men, not common. Not
But it isn't
common.
new though. You said new stuff. It isn't new.
Well, not new, but
Right.
just
Yes, I
you get what I'm saying.
right. But
yeah.
I mean, Reiki has been around for
Reiki's
a
been
long,
around
right,
forever.
for a long time. Yes, and all these natural modalities have been around forever, just like our plants and our oils and all the things. It's been
Yep.
around for a long time.
So really, when it comes down to it, this is what I'm hearing.
Okay.
It all is a matter of, for an individual, for whatever you're experiencing, if you're seeking some kind of change because you're not feeling well, then you start to open your mind up to some options.
Yep.
And if one of the options is not drug therapy from the Western
Right.
medicine, but so then what's left,
Right.
really? So what's left is things that are found more in the environment, more in the natural environment, that you're really dealing with using and manipulating the things that God has provided to us from the beginning. And that's where our essential oils come from, and that's where other plant-based products have come from, and that's where prayer and meditation has come from, which has been practiced for again, thousands and thousands of years. The Reiki and the sound has been. People would sit outside listening to the wind blow through the trees, listen to the how sound as the wind blew through tunnels and things, and they would get comfort
Yes.
from that. So now it's just a way of systematizing it, if you will,
Yeah.
and putting it into a thing. Okay, so all these things were out in nature. People have been taking advantage of them for a long time. People would go on journeys to a certain mountain because of the way the wind blew down through the mountain and the music that came through the leaves and the caves. So it's a way for you to practice that with people. For some people, it's going to work. Some people are going to think, "Nah, I got nothing."
Yep.
And that's great. Then they're gonna move on to another venue. But we're gonna have one of these things at the mansion. I'm excited to do it. We're gonna have it on January 26th at 4 p.m. at the mansion. Go online, not Hittner Group. Go online to ourhealthyhomes.com. You want to go to hittnergroup.com.
You can go there too and let you look for a house. Yeah. Exactly.
Ourhealthyhomes.com and sign up for it. It's $50. It'll be fun.
You get a nice little swag bag too.
That's right.
Of course.
Okay, that's it for this week. We'll see you next week.
guys.
But when he calls me sugar, I love that man with all my might. Sugar in the morning, sugar in the afternoon. Sugar after dinner, When he calls me that name, it does things to me. I tell him, honey, you can call me sugar.